All right, so recently I've been having some issues with the fuel pump on this old Johnson 200 Oceanrunner. Originally it's a two-stroke, so it had the oil or the fuel pump that mixed the oil with the fuel. But when I bought a new fuel pump, I pre-mixed mine in the tank, so I just have the single stage or the non-oiling fuel pump on the boat now. Now, we replaced it, ran fine for a whole trip. This last trip when we went out to haul our traps, we got about a mile from our string and completely lost the fuel pump again. So we had to limp back in with Jimmy back here just pumping the bulb the entire time. So when I got back home, pulled the pump off, took it apart, it had a ripped diaphragm in it. You know, I ordered the cheaper Amazon, and this is what I got. So anyway, fortunately I had a rebuild kit on hand, so I put in a new diaphragm, put the pump back together, and now it seems to be working just fine. But what was interesting to me is how these pumps actually work. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these outboard fuel pumps, but I thought it was like a little mechanical pump in there pumping fuel. No, it's diaphragms that move back and forth that siphon the fuel up and then out, siphon it up and then out through the motor. And it works off of, you see back here, this hose right there. There it is. So that is coming off of the lowest cylinder, and it is a pulse suction that comes in on this hose in the back and hooks right there to the fuel pump. So that pulse suction is what operates the two diaphragms inside the pump, which moves the fuel up. So obviously when that diaphragm ripped, there was no suction and I lost it. All right, so this is the old fuel pump that was on the boat. So I thought I'd take it apart and show you guys for those of you who haven't seen one. So this was the original one that mixed the oil. Oil came in right here, and it mixed the oil into the fuel, which came in here, and then put it out to the motor, which comes out there. So if you take this first side off, here you'll see there's a little diaphragm that moves up and down. And on this side is a spring holding another diaphragm, and they move back and forth. So I've taken the screws out of this one. All but one. There you go. So you see there's a spring in there that holds tension in it, another little spring there. But essentially this whole fuel pump is just two diaphragms that go back and forth and pump the fuel to the motor. Pretty crazy. I always thought it was a little mechanical pump in there. But this is the diaphragm that was in the fuel pump, and you can see where it just completely separated and ripped. And this was this diaphragm. So it was just moving back and forth, but because of the hole, wouldn't pump any fuel. All right, so you know, I got the fuel pump on the boat. It's running good now, idling. It's holding prime. It's not dying out. So tomorrow we'll put it in the water and we'll see how it goes.